let me point to the intricacies of this foam that we're using today. This right here, this dark line, is representing the dermal layer, right here. This is the cuticle that we refer to in intracuticular. This here, all down here, is the sub-Q or subcutaneous, meaning below the cuticle layer. And of course, this is the epidermis right here on the top. But this sub-Q, when you say subcuticular, it's a misnomer. So what we are going to do eventually today is the intracuticular stitch, which means in the middle of the dermal layer is where you take your stitch. Okay, let's begin with the simple interrupted stitch. And this is a slight exaggeration because it'll never be this big in real life. So you want to take equidistant bites on at your incision from here and then to here. Always use and follow the curve of your needle. Now, you can tie on either side. Now, as you can see, I did that on purpose. That is not going to hold unless you do this little lock . You'll do this and then lock over here. And that will hold until you take your other throw. So you see how that happens? So forward and back and forward and back. Okay? Considering the size of stitch I have, I need to move down my incision line at a square. Imagine a square. So remember, equidistant bites here to here and here to here. You can also take the surgeon's knot, which is of course 2 throws, and it'll just tie down automatically, which is a fine way to go as well. And then cut. When you do simple interrupted, you want to be sure and have your knot on one side or on the other side of your incision. Because as time goes on and healing starts, wound healing starts, these knots will then grow into that wound. And when the patient goes to the doctor's office to get these removed, they will have grown into the wound, and that's painful to remove. So the next thing is another one over here, equidistant again. me show you that lock again. So you see how we're going down flat. All right, you're down this way, and then you tighten over to one side. And it holds until you get your next throw in. And of course, you don't want to leave this on this side, because remember, this is what a patient or a patient's family member sees. You want to make it look great. So everything's on one side, and then you, of course, apply your dressing, your wound dressing. Okay, so that's it for simple interrupted right now, and you can see that basically I've created a square here, and then I would go further down and do the same thing. So everything is equidistant. Nothing's too big, nothing's too small. Everything is just right. Sometimes you will actually, with a simple interrupted, take a smaller bite. This suture that I'm using today is very large, and I've used the dyed so you can see it, so you can visualize. In real life, you would actually take perhaps a smaller little bite, and you would continue on with your small little bites. So whatever the wound is the size of bite you would take.